Each of us has our own unique background and story of how we became a part of Chiefs Kingdom.
Our reach is far and wide with fans all over the world cheering on our Kansas City Chiefs.
Everyone donning the red and gold has figuratively signed that mutual agreement and come together for one common purpose.
For 76,000 of us at a time, to descend upon Arrowhead, man our stations, let out our loudest battle cry to the tune of 142.2 decibels, and make that stadium rock until our opponents beg for mercy.
We are unrelenting in our pride for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the Allies, Arrowhead Allies.
Welcome to and breaking news here on Arrowhead Allies. Thanks everyone for joining us.
All sides, number 19.
Oh,
offense, 5 yards. Repeat, check it down. Clint,
right into it here.
Oh, darn.
We've got Kadarius Toney.
I had a whole intro plan to talk about the KC Current women's soccer team being sold out for the year, but yeah, this is fine.
Yay!
Oh, wow.
Instead, we're talking about something that I'd rather not talk about. I'd much rather talk about the KC Current selling out their season tickets, but instead we've got to talk about Kadarius Toney's blunder. Another blunder from the receivers, costing the Chiefs a game. It's the theme all season long. But the Dolphins can do it. Jalen Waddle, that's fine. No flag there. That's perfectly okay. But Kadarius Toney lining up like that all game long. Dan Orlovsky went into it. No warning, no flag, end of the game, crucial play, game winner, not so fast.
That's what the season is, guys. That is the story of this season. That is what this receiving core is. I told Noah that it's like, I'm deathly afraid of snakes, right? Okay, I'm deathly afraid of snakes. But guess what? Snakes are not out there actively trying to hurt you, believe it or not. They don't lurk. They lurk in caves, down by riverbeds. They're not trying to bite you. Imagine if all of a sudden snakes turned that energy onto humans and were coming after us, trying to bite us in our sleep. That is what this receiving core has become. Not only is it bad, not only is it, in my opinion, the worst in over a decade, and the numbers bear that out, it is now actively trying to hurt this team and Patrick Mahomes' prime year here in Kansas City, as we're in the midst of wasting a season of Patrick Mahomes being 28 years old. And guys, that is the theme. We've seen it all year. It started week 1, and here we are, another loss to the Bills, 2 in a row now. What is that? 4 out of the last 6 losses here, and this is just where we're at, and we're going to have to try to pick up the pieces. Brian, you were there. Talk about the energy. Where are you at? We haven't seen you in a couple weeks.
I wasn't there for that. I was not going to go to that game. Look, man, I don't care if the refs called it or not. I don't care if the refs gave a warning or not. I don't care about any of that. Bro, you are an NFL wide receiver. That means you're a professional football player. Emphasis on professional. This is elementary. This is pee-wee football. These are the rules that you're first taught when you're playing football, is to not cross the ball before it is being snapped. And you being an offensive guy, you being a receiver, you're in constant communication with the refs the entire game, because you're outside. You might be backing up so somebody else can get back on the line, so you can go in motion. You're on both sides of the LOS, so you're familiar with all the refs and all the checks and all this other stuff, and you've been doing this for years. This ain't your first time doing this. Emphasis on professional again. A professional wide receiver. The blame is squarely on Kadarius Toney here. Squarely on him. I don't care if it's the first time in 25,000 plays that Andy Reid has called that this is the first offensive offsides. I don't care. And I get it and I understand it. I understand why Patrick was mad. But this falls on Kadarius Toney. And this is a microcosm of what's been going on with this team, specifically the young wide receiver corps, the entire year. Mistake here, mistake there. And these mistakes, it's not really what they are. It's when they are. You get a red zone fumble. You get a red zone interception. You get offsides. You get a hold. You get at the most crucial times when when the offense is about to march in and score the ball. And these things are critical in the NFL, especially when the margin for error is so small and so slim. You see it with all these 7-6 teams in the wild card in the AFC. Everybody is even, man. The Titans just smacked up the Dolphins. There's no room for these kind of crucial mistakes in these crucial times in these games, and that right there has been happening all season long.
Yeah, and Shane, I want you to go into that, kind of what Brian was talking about, the bad timing of these penalties and these mistakes, and especially this one with Kadarius Toney after the greatest play we've ever seen.
It's undisciplined. It's and it falls at the feet of the coaching staff. Now I know
Eric Bieniemy, where are you?
You know,
talk about that.
Would it happen with Eric Bieniemy? Probably not. But Eric Bieniemy had to go just because it was good for him to get out of Andy Reid's shadow. For Eric Bieniemy to eventually become a head coach in the National Football League, he had to go. Was sad to see him go, yes. But now it's Matt Nagy, and as I've said all season here on Arrowhead Allies, there is a problem with Matt Nagy as the offensive coordinator. I mean, it has to fall at the feet of him, but I think they're going to take it further up the coaching staff and go to the wide receiver coach, who everybody seemed to make fun of last month when he was doing radio interviews because of his voice. They felt that he was inexperienced, he was nervous, he shouldn't be a wide receiver coach. And if that's going to be the fall, if his neck is going to be on the chopping block, I understand, but I also think the talent, as Lance alluded to last week, and I agree with him, and I agree with you and Noah and Clint, because this talent is really bad. So it falls at the feet of the coaching staff, and it falls at the feet of Brett Veach. And if we're going to be blaming Matt Nagy, Brett Veach, we also have to blame Andy Reid. Now, I know people might be saying, hold on, Shaggy. You can't blame the best head coach in Chiefs history. You can never blame Andy Reid. He's so good, and we just can never blame Andy Reid, you piece of crap. Now, seriously, Andy Reid has to hold these players accountable. Andy Reid has to hold these players accountable and do something about their faults, but he is not. Sky Moore's still out there running sprints, but not getting the ball thrown to him. And when he does, he's not in the right spot. We've talked about it. We've talked about it so much, but it's so glaring, and it's the only fault of this team that we have to talk about it moving forward. This falls at the feet of Brett Veach, Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, the players. It's unacceptable for these guys to keep making these crucial mistakes. I knew that we'd probably not be as good as last year without Juju, since they didn't get DeAndre Hopkins, but I didn't think it would be detrimental to wins and losses. Like Brian said, the margin for error is so slim because they keep making these crucial mistakes at the worst time. What do you think, Michael?
Man, I just think for the Chiefs, Brian's going to know what I'm talking about. When you hear DTP, we usually think Ludacris and his crew, but for the Chiefs, it's drops, turnovers, and penalties. Like, it is killing this team every game, and there's an issue. And I was just looking over numbers for games last year, and since Rashee Rice has stepped up to be that number one guy at receiver, the numbers don't look too crazy different when it comes to the receiving room. When you look at when Juju was that guy last year, it's just the fact that they're turning the ball over more than they did last year. They're more penalized than they were with last year's team. And it's just terrible timing for when all of this stuff is happening. So the reason why it really sucks is because you see the AFC. Like we talked about the Dolphins, they just lost to the Titans. The Ravens don't scare me. Jacksonville is coming off suffering a defeat. Like, it's so wide open that if, like, I said it all the time, like, if the Chiefs can figure it out, they still have 4 more games and then the playoffs. if they can figure it out offensively, they are the scariest team in the AFC because the defense is playing good football. Maybe not as great as they were earlier in the year, but they're playing good football, and they have Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes is some of the issue as well, like the turnover that he had. He's still missing some throws and missing some guys that it's like, who's going to take accountability? You know, like who is stepping to these guys and saying, hey, we have to figure this out quick. Luckily for them, the Bengals don't look like they have, looked the last couple years. Buffalo is going to have to try to claw to get into the playoffs, and they have some tough games where it looks like they might miss out, to where Chiefs can come in, by quieting all of the doubters, by winning these last 4 games, going to the playoffs 12-5. I can't remember who picked the Chiefs to go 12-5 before the season, but it's kind of like where you guys expected them to be. It's not looking the way that we want it to look, but the Chiefs still have time. People are acting like, a lot of Chiefs Kingdom are acting like the Chiefs are getting blown out, and they haven't had a loss like they had against the Titans a few years ago. In Tennessee, they haven't really had any embarrassing losses. It's just the littlest things. If they can fix those, the Chiefs will be all right. But it's about damn time they do it, because these tough losses, especially for the fans, drive us nuts.
What do people want Clark Hunt to do? What? Excuse me? You got like what are we talking about? Like you have to let people do their job as an own. Y'all want Clark Hunt to be like Jerry Jones and interfere and mess up? What?
Working for Jerry Jones this year.
What like you have to first off, you got to let Andy Reid do his job. You have to let people. That's what you do when you're when you're a boss. You have to let people work and let them do what they do. You never want an owner interfering with stuff that's happening on the field during the season. That's like red alert. Like Clark Hunt didn't even say anything during the 2012 season. He's definitely not going to say nothing during this run.
He did his talking after that season, that's for sure. And to me, guys, this is a bigger picture issue. And I asked this, and I got some, negative feedback. But to me, bigger picture, it feels like presently that the magic is gone from this team, from this organization. That doesn't mean forever. It doesn't mean that it can't return this season. It doesn't mean there's not still opportunities left. You guys talked about it. But I don't know that I'm going to feel better in 4 games. If the Chiefs go 4-0 and are 12-5 going into the playoffs, they're the 2 seed, let's say, after beating the Patriots, Raiders, no Joe Burrow Bengals, although Jake Browning's playing really well, and then the Justin Herbert-less Chargers. I don't know that that's going to really get me back on any kind of a high horse. This team's going to have to prove it in the playoffs. Can they get it done? Yes, but whenever the ball leaves Patrick Mahomes' hands in key situations, whereas before we stood up with our jaws to the floor and we wondered what is going to happen next? What are you going to see that you've never seen before? Instead, now when the ball leaves his hands, I wonder what hilarity is about to follow. A turnover, a drop, a penalty, it was a good play, but it looks like MVS didn't control it to the ground and it's an incomplete pass, or Travis Kelce wasn't focused, didn't make that play. Darn. This is what I mean about the magic being gone. It just feels, especially with the way some players are kind of handling this right now. You saw Patrick Mahomes lose it. I'm not going to get on him too much for that. I love the emotion. I'm an emotional guy myself. Chris Jones going at it with Joe Cullen on the sidelines. It's all, though, kind of adding up to this season has just felt weird since week 1, since Chris Jones sat in the crowd with popcorn like Priest Holmes in 2004, just watching a game in the crowd with his agent, perfectly healthy. Travis Kelce injured before week 1. That's a loss. It's just felt weird from the beginning. It hasn't felt right. And here we are now, 8-5. But like you say, it's not over. There's stuff out there to play for. So you might as well just believe until you can't anymore, I guess.
You can still right the ship. Earlier, after week 8, a lot of Niner fans was like, oh, man, we suck. Maybe Brock Purdy isn't that guy. They just lost 3 straight games. They just lost to the Bengals at home. And now look at the 49ers. Look like the best team.
They have a lot of injuries, and we don't really.
Yeah, but you just want to get hot, and this will be the perfect time to get hot. You want to beat up on the team you're supposed to beat on so that you can get some confidence rolling into the playoffs. And no matter what anybody says, if the Chiefs go 4-0 the rest of this way, they look better. They're doing things better. You don't want to face the Chiefs in the playoffs because they're the only team that's been there, that's made this, this thing happen. We're waiting for Chris Jones to explode. He hasn't been playing as great as he was last year. So he has a chance to pick it up. Like, for, all of us Chiefs fans, we're going to be in a little of a panic mode because, like I said, we are the Lakers now. And, whenever you watch the Lakers, anytime they go on any type of losing streak, everybody in LA is going crazy, saying that it's time for LeBron to retire, AD sucks, and things like that, because the expectations are so high that you want to win every game and everything that you can win. For the Chiefs, they're just feeling that right now, and, they just have to deal with it, but take advantage of these last 4 weeks, week by week, making things happen, because they were able to drive down the field against Buffalo. They were making things happen. Just the turnovers would kill you. Penalties would kill you. They give up early scores, and then the defense looks great again. So you're seeing some things that can be Super Bowl worthy and Super Bowl like. Then there's the bad things that you have to fix. So I'm not in too much of a panic. I just expect the Chiefs to finish the season strong, and then the playoffs come. It is 0-0, everybody's record, and the team that I'm going to be most confident in, especially in the AFC, will be the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, Noah, can you pull that graphic back up with the seeding? Because I'm gonna explain why. Like, okay, the one seed is still to play. All right, can you pull the graphic up where that's the one? Thank you. All right, here we go. So here's why the one seed is still in play. First, Baltimore's the one seed. You think they're going to go on a 4-0 run on that? Jacksonville, San Francisco, Miami, and the Steelers? I think
lost in the round.
I think they're going 3-1.
I can see 0-4 realistically right there.
No.
What you mean no?
I mean no.
Lost to the Rams at home. That stellar Baltimore defense that everybody thought the Rams chopped it up like they was at the hibachi grill. It took them a miracle overtime, Tamarick Vanover-esque punt return to seal the deal for the Ravens. So I'm not
Jaguars
Joe Flacco. So
let's see. All right, so we got Miami coming up. Come on, man. You think they're going 4-0 too?
I actually told Clint this. I think Miami's done.
Whoa.
Because of the injuries on the offensive line. I know I've been talking about them, but Tua has to have everyone healthy, everything perfect for him to succeed. It's not right now. They just lost their center for the year. Miami's cooked. It's over.
Man, the Jets could make it funky this week. They really could for them. Not talking about the other three teams right there. So look, man, the one seed is very much still in play. I don't know why people are panicking about it. And here's my other thought that I said on the Blitz today. I don't give a damn about the one seed. The only reason that I have a smidget of care for it, and it's probably the most crucial part, is that bye week. That's the most crucial part. Other than that, though, I would love to see Patrick Mahomes go on the road in the playoffs.
I would not.
I would. Why not? That's when he plays his best. I bet you Patrick Mahomes has a better record on the road than he does at Arrowhead.
Well, I talked about that a lot last year. You're not wrong about that. I just.
This team can
straight
lose
years.
anyone, so I would rather not play 3 games. I'd rather only play 2. So
that's it, Noah.
Because you can lose to any of them. You could lose to the Texans. You could lose to the Broncos. You could lose to any.
Yeah.
But think about
Magic is gone. But I say, if you guys have ever seen one of the old yearbooks in 1995, the Raiders went 7-9, and it would be a team on the brink. This is. The thrill is gone. The thrill is gone away. The story of the 2023 Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sorry.
Don't jump off the deep end, fellas. Come on, the league is so fascinating.
I didn't say the season's over. I just said the thrill. The thrill of this offense. The thrill is gone.
Well, this makes it even more thrilling.
Wow.
Depending on who you ask. But no, like the league is so fascinating this year, fellas.
Yeah.
By that you mean way down and very strange. Every quarterback out. It's muddy.
Mahomes was MVP. We were running rough.
We're only talking about the Chiefs having a chance for the one seed because all these other teams, as quarterbacks, are on the sidelines with their legs in casts. That's the only reason we're going. Calm down, everyone. The one seed's still out there because we're 8-5 and everybody else is hurt or underperforming or has a tough schedule. The Chiefs themselves have done nothing to put themselves into this position, and the thrill is damn gone.
So you
acting like
mean
the
to
Chiefs
tell
are
me? Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
no, we're acting like the Chiefs are 5-8, and we're hoping for
Right.
a big turnaround so that they can get to 9-8 and maybe sneak in the playoffs. The Chiefs are 8-5 and they're losing
If you were
games
5-8,
by
I'd be rooting to lose all the games.
Andy
but
Reid's
they-
only
they-
lost more than 5 games once in his career here in Kansas City, one time in 2014.
they're losing game by like situations, like fluke situations, you could almost say. Drop passes, a penalty that the refs.
It's what this
haven't
team
really,
is, you guys.
Yeah, but it can all change, with a 4-game winning streak against teams that you're clearly better than and that you're supposed to beat. That's why I'm even thinking that even getting a bye, do we really want the Chiefs team to win 4 straight and then have to sit and
Yes.
these guys forget once
Yes.
again, like, oh, how do we catch the ball?
Yes.
But of course you want the bye because the rest and injuries and things like that. But the main focus is just taking winning each game, taking advantage of each game, but it's just trying to get these 4. And it's all set up perfectly for the Chiefs to do it. Pats, Raiders, Bengals, and then you have the Chargers with no Justin Herbert. So it's just about, if sports, they always talk about the big MO. It's about momentum, and you want to have that. And if you can get that rolling until the postseason for Kansas City, they can be in the best situation that we can ask for, or they can be a team that's going in with already with 12 wins and lose 2 games at the end of the season. I'll prefer a team going in with 4 straight wins that you can say, hey, they're hot right now. Let's see if they can carry it over.
Shane, I know
Shane, I want to go to you with this. Are you going to feel comfortable going into the playoffs? The Chiefs are 4-0, but they've played 4 backup quarterbacks. And what if they win the games like 17-13 and they're not looking much better on offense and there's still mistakes, but they're 4-0 heading into the playoffs? Are you going to feel better about this team?
No, gentlemen, we have to take it one game at a time. I know it's easy to say 4-0 because the Chiefs have lost, the Chiefs have started the last 3 games extremely flat. They were able to bail out against the Raiders and pull that out, but then they started flat the next 2. It's inexcusable. It's unacceptable. Now, as I was talking to Clint Noah before the show, I wanted to go watch a Chiefs game with my best friend Clay Windler without any stress last year. We looked on the schedule because we don't like to watch games when we're stressed out. And we looked at the Texans game. It was 360 days ago. The Chiefs went on the road needing to hold on to that number 1 seed to play the 1-11-1 Texans, and that game went deep into overtime. It was stressful, which brings me to this weekend. I'm not going to do my prediction yet because we're not there yet. The Chiefs have to start fast. The Patriots defense is number 1 against the run. Are the Chiefs going to continue this trend of, well, I guess we'll let the Patriots kick 2 field goals? I mean, we got to come out and say we're world champion Chiefs. We got to take the fire that Patrick Mahomes just had at the end of the game. We got to take that fire that is freaking running deep inside our quarterback and put the Patriots in their place. Then if you guys want to talk the next 4 games, that's fine. Because that's what we do. We can't just sit around and talk to Patriots. But to me specifically, I want to see the Chiefs come out and all of a sudden, boom, be up 10-0 with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. It can't be, man, we're at the 2-minute warning and it's 6-3 Chiefs in the first half. It can't be that kind of game because that plays into Belichick and how the Patriots run their defense. So we have to come out strong. Would I love to win the next 4 games? Of course. Would I love to have home field advantage again? Yes. But until this team shows me that they can do it, to piggyback off Lance Twidwell, what he said on Starcade Media with Vaughn Booker, he said the Chiefs' number 1 enemy right now is themselves. Soon as they cannot beat themselves and come out and play on fire this Sunday, then I'll feel good and we'll have a different take next Tuesday. What do you think, Clint?
That's a great point. You made some good points there. And, I kind of wanted to go to this because, we've been talking about this defense and how good it's played for much of the season. I think that Noah and I have been talking how it's maybe regressed a tad from a great defense to just a very good defense. Whatever, we're splitting hairs. It's ranked 6 overall in total defense. But, guys, this is kind of the argument Noah and I have been making for the whole year about the offense. And, you miss a Tyreek. We keep bringing that up. But which team was closer to winning a Super Bowl? 2018 where the defense was ranked 31st, or 2023, where the defense was ranked 6th? Brian's laughing, and whatever he's about to say is going to really anger me, I'm pretty sure. The answer, I'll give you the answer, is 2018. So
Yeah, I'd go with 18.
Well, and that's with the 31st ranked defense with Ron Edwards back there and
Orlando
Scandrick.
Steve Nelson.
That's where we're at, folks.
Well,
there's your defense.
The league was different. Like,
yeah.
What do you mean?
Because now, what I mean is that this year the defenses have caught up with the offense. That 2018 Chiefs offense, I ain't never seen an offense like that before. I like the Rams. You can compare it to the Rams offense in '99, compared to the Patriots defense in 2007,
Falcons of 17.
That offense was like, you already knew what was about to happen. But the other team, there was no film on Patrick. There was nothing on Patrick Mahomes in this offense as it was in 2018. But to your point,
they also had good players.
But to your point, hell yeah, that defense, that like they can muster up a stop here and there in some spots. Maybe not against the Rams on Monday Night Football, but that's another story.
Did lead the league in sacks.
But that, man, look, that offense was just that special that year that it carried that 31st ranked defense all the way to the brink of pushing Tom Brady out of the Super Bowl run in the AFC Championship game.
Right. So we think that team was closer to winning a Super Bowl.
Oh,
then?
definitely.
Yeah. Of course, I believe it's the 2018 because the offense is just so crazy. But the only difference that year, you had Tom Brady and the Patriots, who you were like, damn, like this team is there, and you have to fear them always because of who they are, and somehow they seem to get the calls to go their way. But this year, there's no Patriots in front of the Chiefs that you have to fear. Like all the teams that's above them are teams that we're like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if Tua can push his team to a Super Bowl. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is ready to take that jump. I don't know if, without their star tight end, if the Ravens can make that jump. Like, you're just unsure of anybody that's in front of the Chiefs in the AFC, where that year you knew it was going to be the Patriots. It was going to be the Chiefs. And could the Chiefs somehow beat the team who's done it before? And the team that done it before did what? Made it to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. So that's why I'm not, in this mix of the Chiefs are doomed, this and that, because just the AFC, you're just unsure about everybody. Now, if they're in the NFC, it'll be much different. It'll be like, I don't think they can get through the Niners, Cowboys, and Eagles to make the Super Bowl. But in the AFC, I'm just like, hey.
But I think they can. The Chiefs should have beat the Eagles, man. Of course we didn't, but
yeah.
If you look at the game and contextualize it, and you saw what happened, like the Chiefs were this close to blowing that thing wide open earlier in that game. And the 49ers, come on, man. We've seen this from them before. I think the Chiefs can hang with any team in the league. I think the Chiefs are right there at the top of the list with the Eagles and the Niners and the Cowboys. These turnovers are so crucial, man. I know, I get it, but it seems like we're a long way away. It does. But if the Chiefs can, somebody said it in the comments, -7 in turnover ratio.
Yeah, there you go.
Season, that's it right there. Not
lockdown corners and stuff, but can they pick the ball off, please?
No, this defense doesn't turn the ball over. It does not do that.
Yeah, we don't have playmaking corners.
I mean, it's very good. Again, it's very good. Yeah. But is that? I guess my point of all this was to throw this up as just like we were all about this building this defense, and it just not trying to throw light on it, Brian. I'm just, for lack of a better term, the everybody eats mentality, and
it ain't working with this
differently
group.
built team. It's not working. Yeah, exactly. And
it ain't working with this group.
And that's okay.
So that goes to my question to Shane. You brought this up, so this is I got to give credit to Shane here. Who do you want? The 2014 Chiefs receivers, no touchdowns in the season, or this current group?
14.
Probably the 14, hands down.
Junior Hemingway, Jason Avant.
Junior Hemingway, Thomas, look at him. Wearing the 88.
Yep.
Jason Avant.
Yeah.
Thomas.
AJ
Is that
Jenkins?
AJ Jenkins? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you saw what Patrick did with Albert Wilson
in one game.
in the last game against Denver in 17. And you got Dwayne Bowe he had his moments in 07, his rookie year. He had a great year.
Second leading receiver in Chiefs history behind Tyreek Hill.
It's like Patrick just needs guys to just simply do their. You don't need anybody to be spectacular. Just catch the ball and not have any crucial penalties at crucial time.
And be able to adjust your route properly where Mahomes expects you to go, where the defense is telling you can go. Don't run your post when the safety's in the middle hole of the defense. Run a go like Patrick was expecting and throwing to Justin Watson several weeks ago against the Eagles. But no, he says there's a post on paper. I'm running a post right into the safety and the ball's over my head and I don't know what I'm doing. Darn.
You got it, Shane.
I'm just going to say this real quick, and I'm going to throw it to you, Michael. If I'm the Chiefs wide receivers, I say let's not get a group picture in the end zone before the game today.
I said that weeks ago. These guys need to stop doing this. It's a joke. It's embarrassing.
Good call, Shane.
They got to swag out, man.
Yeah, they
we don't want.
They got to show some confidence. You know, they got to believe in something that they're doing, and maybe the picture is clearly the best thing that they can do. But you know, I'm just curious. Like, I really wish I could be a fly on the wall in that building, and when they have their meetings and stuff like that, because is Patrick Mahomes in there? As crazy as he went on the sidelines, clearly he's frustrated because he feels, hey, we should have got a touchdown. I believe we would have won that game, and all of this talk that we're hearing right now will be dead silent because the Chiefs would be in a much better position. But I'm like, is Pat in this room and really breaking this stuff down with the guys? Like, hey, Sky, I wish on this play you would have just stopped. MVS, you made this route. We just needed 12 yards. If you could have just come back to the ball. It seems like the attention to detail with these wide receivers isn't great. So I don't know what's going on with the coaching there. I don't know what's going on with Pat talking to these guys. Or maybe Pat is just a little bit off. And he has to reel himself in and get things together. We clearly missed Pacheco this game because, Andy didn't want to run the ball as much as I think that he could have ran the ball. And you just missed those extra plays that Pacheco can bring you. And then last year, the Chiefs kind of had an aberration with Jerick McKinnon. He was a guy that was able to score, 9+ touchdowns last season to help in the red zone, where this year the Chiefs are either kicking field goals or turning the ball over. He was a guy that was like, hey, we know that we can count on this guy to go and get some touchdowns, which he did last year, where he got a touchdown this game, but it's just the Chiefs just aren't finishing these drives. And it's not like their offense is just they getting the ball and it's just terrible every play. You're like, oh, they're making nice plays. They're getting to a spot. Holding. You're taking them back. Offsides, you're taking yourself back. And it's just those little tweaks that if the Chiefs can somehow fix within this next 4 games, that we can be going into the playoffs with a different type of confidence for this team.
I think Shane said something like, we don't need Tyreek Hill. He can keep his stats and his numbers. We got Jerick McKinnon, the touchdown machine.
Yeah.
But then there's, I think Brian agreed with this last night. I think it was Chris Sims that said Tyreek for MVP when you saw the Dolphins offense when he was out, and DeAndre Hopkins saying cheetah for MVP, give praise when it's due. And
that's because every quarterback is hurt except Patrick Mahomes, who's having the season he's having.
Yeah, you saw the Dolphins. The Dolphins.
You
saw the Dolphins offense. Yeah, you saw the Dolphins offense literally change in a span of minutes when Tyreek Hill was out, and their whole team changed, and maybe the trajectory of their season has changed because Buffalo is coming for their ass now. Miami winning the East is not sold up, fellas. It's not.
Is us winning the West sewn up?
No, it's not.
Right.
It's not. Chiefs drop a game here, and Denver is in it. They beat us. In our, the thing that I was harping on last week is that, we have a lot of NFC losses. We didn't have a lot of AFC losses. Well, this marks the second one now. This marks the second one. So, if not the panic button, but if the red alert button hasn't been going off in the locker room yet, I don't know when it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some questions here that I want to get to. It's just talking about Do you think the Chiefs can make it to the Super Bowl?
Oh.
Can? Yes.
Absolutely.
Will? I wouldn't put my money on it as the betting favorite. I wouldn't say the Chiefs are the betting favorite in the AFC.
My fear is
I'll still put my money on it.
My fear is beating 4 beatable teams with backup quarterbacks, getting the bye in the number 1 seed, and going up against, I don't know, Baltimore. And then we're not really accustomed to playing anybody good since we haven't played anybody good in a month and a half if we get the bye and the 1 seed. So I know it's people don't like it, but I would take the season as I wouldn't mind going to the freaking playoffs as a 7th seed and watch Patrick Mahomes freaking take the Chiefs to the Super Bowl, because it would only enhance his legacy that much more.
Is that what told me? It's like God came down and told me, like, if you're the 7th seed, he's going to win all these games and enhance his legacy. And I'm sure, but if I'm not assured of that, then I want nothing to do with it. So there's that.
Do y'all think this will be? We look back on the legacy of Patrick in a Chiefs uniform. Y'all think this could be the worst team that he could have?
I think it's a good debate. It's something good to bring up. I mean, let's look at what I don't have the stats in front of me. Let's look at what Joe Montana did in 1985 and 86 and 87 while the Bears, Giants, and Redskins were winning the Super Bowl, because evidently they weren't going, but they were still changing. They were still a dynasty. They didn't go 3 years in a row. But you know what Bill Walsh did in the 1985 draft? He just went to the Super Bowl and won it. It's spring of 1985. He traded way up into the first round to get a wide receiver from a small school who is by the name of Jerry Rice. But Jerry Rice, he didn't take him to the Super Bowl his first 3 years in the league, but they eventually became that dynasty, and they were the number 1 seed in the NFC 4 straight years in a row. But to the point, of Patrick Mahomes' legacy, this could be a year where it's not as promising, but it's not going to tarnish who he is, because I firmly believe Brett Veach is going to feel the hot seat and freaking reevaluate it and do what Bill Walsh did and do whatever he can to get some good wide receivers in this room.
Good point, Shane. Go ahead.
Now, question for you guys. Do you think I'm trying to take us back to the feeling, November 10th, 2019, right? The Chiefs are just coming off of a loss to the Titans, 35-32. They're 6-4. That feeling that we felt then, we feel worse about the team than we felt about that time then, because that year the Chiefs ended the season. They won all of their final games. They won the Super Bowl. Are we in a worse place than we were then a few years ago?
It's a good question, Michael. It's close. I mean, that team, Patrick Mahomes had missed 2 games with an injury, and there had been a bye week in there. We lost a completely heartbreaking game to the Titans that day, and a day that Mahomes threw for almost 400 yards, I believe. And it did seem like it just wasn't going to be meant to be for that season, for sure. So I can compare the seasons. I think it's very similar. Except for in that year, you had to go play the Patriots, I think, the next week, which we do again this week. It's just, it's not quite the Patriots that we had to go through to get that 2 seed. And that's what you were searching for last, in that season in 19, was to get the 2 seed. And then, which we got thanks to the Dolphins beating the Patriots in week 17, and kind of on and on. It just felt kind of like destiny. So yeah, there's things that could happen. You're right, Michael, when you say there's 4 games and we're going to be watching it, there's going to be moving and shaking. There's going to be crazy things happen. There's going to be upsets. We're going to be looking around, and I hope it matters. I hope that we do look at it and go, man, if the Dolphins just lose this game, as of this week, we're the 2 seed. It's still out there. I hope we're not going, oh, well, we just lost to the Jake Browning-led Bengals at home, 19-16, and now we need to win our last 2 games just to make the playoffs, or to win the division, rather. There's so much that could happen here, and it could go. You're right. It could kind of go either way. Noah, what do you think about that? That's a good. I want to hear your thoughts on the comparison of 19 to now.
I mean, I think this is by far and away the worst team, because they're actively just crushing themselves with these devastating penalties and mistakes and turnovers and drop balls and the bad vibes and feelings that comes from that, whether these guys are like internally like blaming each other, or maybe not outward, maybe not pointing fingers in the locker room, but going home at night and just like, let MVS run the right route. Where is he going? I don't have any clue where these guys are going to be. They're supposed to read a defense a certain way. I'm reading it. They can't read it. They're not reading it. I keep telling them we're in week 15 and people expect us to just catch fire and this thing to click. It's been 14 weeks and it hasn't happened. Damn it. Well, these guys get on the same page with me. And so I think just the vibes, maybe internally, because I don't think Mahomes is going to say that out loud. He may challenge the guys, talk to them in a leadership way in the locker room and in the film room, but he's not going to point fingers or start any of that unless it's at a referee. But I think we're definitely in a worse spot, and hopefully we can figure something out in these last 4 weeks. I don't really expect it. I think maybe we can win all 4, but to figure things out and things to be clicking and firing on all cylinders, I just don't see it right now.
Because even when I looked at, like 2021, it was a similar situation. The Chiefs were 3-4, just got smacked up by the Titans, and they still found a way to make a run to the AFC Championship, which they did lose to the Bengals with Tyreek Hill. But it's just about, getting into a groove and getting some wins together. And that's why I just think that if the Chiefs can take care, they can't control what anybody else is doing in the league. If the Ravens win out, the Chiefs just want to go into the playoffs with some some momentum. If they can pick up these victories and, get the offense going, the defense is making plays, and their confidence is fully up because they're smacking on these teams with their backup quarterbacks, I think you will fear that team more going into the playoffs than anybody in the AFC, even if the Ravens have home field or if the Dolphins have home field advantage, because the difference between 2019 and this year's team has a lot of players who has won Super Bowls, multiple Super Bowls at that, to where 19, they were still trying to get over the hump and finally make it happen. And Andy Reid is going to be, together. Like you see it a lot in basketball. A lot of times it's not about we want to have the top seed and go and win the championship. It's like, no, we just want to go into the postseason with a higher seed, make sure that our confidence is flowing, we're playing well, so that we can make a run to the NBA championship. And I think it's the same way with the Chiefs. If they can take care of their business, whether they're the 1 seed or the 2 seed, because I believe if they go undefeated the rest of this way, they're going to be either 1 or 2 in the AFC. You're just going to have that confidence flowing. That means some stuff is going to be ticking on the offense. That means the defense is going to be playing better. We really missed Tranquil last week. I think he would have been big as far as stopping James Cook to help the defense even more. So getting some guys healthy, maybe even see if Ross can somehow get in there and make a play or two, to help. But I still believe in this Chiefs team, and they just have to take it a game at a time, like Shane said. And if they can do that, man, they're still the scariest team that you want to play in the AFC.
I just think some of those problems were like the 2021 was like the shell coverage. It was things people were doing to us. And this season, it's things we're doing to ourselves and not being able to correct it that has me more worried.
This is the late December 12th, 2023. Any year from December 12th, 2018, 19, 20, 21, and 22. This is the latest in the year that we've seen this offense under Patrick Mahomes play this bad.
Yeah.
We've, like I said, the October swoon. There was always an October swoon except for 2020. Every year with Patrick Mahomes except for 2020, there was always an October swoon. But this year we didn't have the October swoon. Now we're kind of like in this late November, early December swoon that we've never experienced. And I know people are saying, what do you mean swoon? We're in first place. Well, our offensive tackle, right tackle leads the right tackles in penalties and all of NFL.
The NFL in penalties.
Yeah, and we're dropping passes and obviously everything that we've already talked about. But this is the latest in the year since we've had Patrick Mahomes, December 12th, that we're going, oh, man, we're concerned about this, that, and the other. It seemed like every year under Patrick Mahomes, come December, all the problems were resolved and we were streaking. Going back 2 years ago when we were 3-4 on Halloween and dead last, come December 12th in 2021, we were on the rise. This is the first time we're kind of on the decline. So that's how I feel about where we're at this late in the season. It's the first struggle this late in the year under Patrick Mahomes. What do you think, Clint?
I have to ask this because Michael was there. Noah, Michael, and I were there in Vegas when this player was drafted. We watched it all happen together, became fast friends that day. Is Sky Moore cut? Is Sky Moore going to be cut after this season?
I say he should be. I also say he won't be.
I think he will be.
Yeah, I think it's all going to be on how he finishes season. If he is still a guy that's if he can, make a few catches and they're like, okay, you can give us, 3 or 4 catches, a game, and maybe like that's 3 or 4 first downs and he's helping out, But if not, if this is what we getting from Sky Moore, I think next season, I don't think he's going to be a Chief.
You
I
think
think
has
after
that ability to look within and say, "Hey, everybody, I'm showing the whole world. I'm an idiot. I made a mistake. Fired." I don't think so.
Yeah, they did it with, what was the year they took a guy, I believe, in the third round, and he didn't even make the team, the DB. I can't remember his name.
From Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Notre Dame. Yeah. So the Chiefs know how to say, hey, we made a mistake. This guy didn't, pan out
They
the
did
way
it
that
with
we
Breland
wanted.
Speaks.
Definitely
Yeah,
Speaks.
Breland as well.
Is that what
Yeah.
this would be, kind of, Shane, for you? Kind of a Breland Speaks type situation?
I think after the Chiefs pick up Mike Evans in free agency and draft Keon Coleman in the first round, Sky Moore's not going to make the team next August.
Oh,
Mike Evans is too old for Brett Veach, I think. He's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's
I think they
obviously Brett Veach is going to have a lot to learn, and he has learned. I'm giving Brett Veach the benefit of the doubt to feel that seat. That seat is hot. He knows he's got to get Keon Coleman. He knows he's got to get a big name free agent. He knows he's got to get studs. And I think within the first and second round, the Chiefs are going to get some studs, and they're going to get a free agent.
I don't. I do not believe in that whatsoever.
You have to. He has to. Not just you and me, because you, Clint, you and Noah and Lance Twidwell have called your shot. You said this is glaring, this is a problem, and you guys said it. And you know what? You're right. And I think Brett Veach.
I'm not happy about it.
No,
I'm not happy about it
because you guys called it. You three called it with Lance Twidwell because this is Patrick Mahomes' prime year. That's going to be the narrative on Brett Veach all offseason. Man, I just wasted Pat Mahomes' prime year. He has to get two stud wide receivers in the first and second round, as well as pick up a stud free agent, which, since we're talking about Sky Moore, will push Sky Moore off the roster on the final cuts next August. That's my opinion.
That could be a thing where he final cuts, he's just not good enough. But
But I'm just curious to see, because I saw somebody, KSU 1989, what a great year that was. To see how things finish, because like McCole can be a guy that can come in.
I forgot about him. Forgot he was on the roster, actually, literally.
With some gadget stuff, and he's still a speed. You can't teach that type of speed. But it's Rashee Rice is a guy that I really trust in. And I just think that
But he's a rookie, and he put the ball on the ground last week, and he's our best option. That's what's scary. Like, he put the ball on the turf and turned the ball over, and he's our best. That's just it. And McCole Hardman, for his sake, I hope to God McCole Hardman comes back and does something this season, because he has another child on the way. He has a gold-digging girlfriend that's wearing mink coats and fur coats and chains all over her neck. He better damn well hope that McCole Hardman comes back and does something. Otherwise, he's going to be applying for paraprofessional jobs at local high schools next year, or trying to coach receivers at Liberty North High School up here. That's the truth. That's the sad truth.
Hey, did we kind of pressure Veach a little bit too? Because all the Chiefs fans are giving all this praise to Justin Ross and saying he's the next AJ Green or whatsoever, to where he kind of believed the hype.
Shane.
And it was like, all right, maybe I can go, because it looks like he hit with Rashee Rice. He's like, maybe I can have this guy. And then, man, we just can't overlook the coaching, because you have Travis Kelce, who's clearly our number one guy. He's playing 90% of the snaps. We all, or at least I expected him to come in that, okay, I think we might see a little more two tight ends, because Noah Gray is an emerging guy that can do some things that can, help you out if the receivers are playing. And the guy can't get on the field.
Is Zach Ertz going to sign anywhere? Anybody? Zach Ertz? Can we get the Chiefs uniform?
That will be great, but the coaching has to be great as well. And this year, as much as the players are letting everybody down, the coaches are failing too. So they have to figure it out and get to these guys and get the best out of this offense, because the whole offseason, you've been telling us that this was enough. You better show us when you have 15 and a defense that has surprised everyone with playing how well they have for, so far this season.
And Shane, I know we talked about this a little bit, but the offensive numbers are getting closer between the 1995 Chiefs and the 2023 Chiefs, and the defensive numbers are getting further apart as we're giving up more and more points as the season goes along. And we've gone from Bono to Mono.
Oh no.
That's a scary stat. That's a scary stat. But like I said, and like we all know, I attribute it to the penalties, losing the turnover battle, and dropping footballs. And with the defense, the defense, I mean, they were playing great for a long time, but now you look at them and they're really good. They still only held the Bills' defense offense to 6 points the final second half of the game after being down 14-0. But a lot of that I attribute also to the offense being so flat 3 straight games in a row. I mean, Patrick Mahomes threw an interception on the first possession, trying to loop it over to Sky Moore, and the defensive end jumped up.
I think Brad wants us to answer a question. He doesn't think we see the comments. We pull them up when they're on screen. That means I'm clicking them, so we do see them. Sky Moore as bad of a pick as I think he means Jamarcus Russell for the Raiders. Probably not, because that's a number 1 overall pick quarterback you're trying to build your franchise around. Hopefully they weren't trying to build the franchise around Sky Moore, so I would say
unless he's talking about Demarcus Robinson, in which case I wish he was back on the team right now.
Yeah, I had a touchdown against the old Ravens.
Yeah.
Let's give some good props. If we had to give a game ball to this Chiefs game last Sunday, let's give it to a gentleman who joined us, a gentleman who joined us as soon as he was drafted, and that's Wanya Morris. He had a solid, like I said, Andy Reid never played Eric Fisher at left tackle. I don't know why. He never played him at left tackle his rookie season, and he was the number 1 overall pick. Wanya Morris has already beat out Lucas Niang, that other guy that we got in the 5th round of the 2022 draft.
Kennard.
What's his Kennard? I mean, Wanya Morris has came out of nowhere, and if you look at the touchdown run to Jerick McKinnon kind of stuttered, stepped, followed his block, and Wanya Morris had that defensive end stood up, and Jerick McKinnon just kind of stood in behind him. I'm sure you guys all seen that on the All-22 footage. So if there's a game ball for last Sunday showing promise, I'm going to give it to Wanya Morris.
Former Arrowhead Ally, an honorary Arrowhead Ally, Wanya Morris, who was on this show back after being drafted here this past summer. That is
what
correct.
Do you think, Michael?
At least we'll have to draft one.
Think, I feel, we're going to see once again how he finishes the season, but I think that he can be the guy at left tackle, and that's the Chiefs slightly getting better because Donovan Smith was kind of struggling as of late. So it's truly a week by week process because, the Chiefs still have a chance to win this. My game ball will go to L'Jarius Sneed, the job that he did once again against a top receiver, which we have that, to our advantage. So I'm going to wait before I panic too much. Of course, as a Chiefs fan, I want us to win every game, every year, never lose. I want us to look like the Lady UConn basketball team where they win every game years straight.
The John Wooden Bruins.
Yeah, John Wooden and his team. But I just understand that this is football, and the league is so many great players, so much great talent that the smallest of mistakes can lead to a loss. Because right now we can easily be talking about the Chiefs like nearly undefeated if they made 1 or 2 plays extra per game, to where if you can fix that, you become a championship team, a team that wins the Super Bowl. And you have time to do that until you are eliminated from the playoffs or eliminated from playoff contention. And until then, I believe in Andy Reid. I trust in Chris Jones in the defense, and I trust in Patrick Mahomes until we don't see any of that.
I do not trust in Mike Edwards. I think we missed Brian Cook. Mike Edwards is looking kind of shabby out there. Gave up the 4th and 1 deep pass against the Packers, and then the Josh Allen falling out of bounds. He just lets the running back go. I believe it was Latavius Murray, and he's running down the sideline, drops the ball. Thought it was a fumble, but doesn't matter.
Unable to recover the key fumble.
How can't you?
There's that. Well, guys, I think it's time. I think it's time to go to our predictions.
Did Brian
just
Brian's
leave? Been gone for like 25 minutes. His prediction is it's the NFL and the Chiefs will win 10-6, and he'll think it's thrilling. That's his prediction for today.
He just bounced out. He didn't even say goodbye.
I don't blame him. I mean, man, I talk about the thrill is gone, the magic is gone. Maybe it's gone here on Arrowhead Allies. We got to try to rekindle it here.
Never.
And I'll tell you this much: Sunday noon, not Monday Night Football, Sunday at noon at Gillette Stadium, a place Noah and I have sat in there and watched a playoff game. We sat in there like bumps on a log saying, maybe if Tom Brady just drops a ball on this cold, wet field, the Chiefs will have a chance to win this game in 2016 in January.
Oh.
Well, it didn't happen, and the Chiefs lost that game. The Chiefs are going back to Gillette for the first time here now in a couple years since they did in 2019. We referenced that game earlier. The Chiefs are going to go win this game. It's going to be frustrating. It's not going to be pretty. And the Chiefs are going to come out. The Chiefs are going to score 23 points, and they're going to win it 23-17. And the Patriots are going to have the ball with a chance to win the game with a late touchdown. And Bailey Zappi is going to throw an interception to Trent McDuffie, and that's going to end the game. The Chiefs are going to be 9-5 after this game and still the 3rd seed in the AFC playoffs. Next.
Man, the Chiefs scoring 23 points. The defense giving up 17 points to Bailey Zappi. The defense, Trent McDuffie getting an interception. Like, that is going to be an exciting game, and I'm on board. This is the Super Bowl team if that happens.
Hey, we said that about the Jets. 17, and they had like 24. So, yeah, I mean,
it can happen. You know.
So who's next?
Somebody, any damn buddy.
I'll knock it out, man.
There we go.
I believe the Chiefs are going to bounce back. They're playing against a team that they're clearly better than. They're losing very close games to very talented teams, you know. And, you know, you lose to Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen. He can find a way to make things happen. And, you know, the Chiefs thought they won the game, but the ref decided to say, hey, he lined up that way 5 times. Let's wait until this one when we saw one of the greatest plays ever to throw the flag. And, you know, I heard the Chiefs, but I think they win 27-10. I believe that the offense is going to do their thing. Yeah, because they seem to – last time they played the Raiders, they scored big against the Bears earlier in the year. So they're going to find a way to score points, you know, cause some turnovers. Belichick is like, hey, we shouldn't have – the Patriots won last week, am I right?
You're right, at Pittsburgh. They only have 10 days to get ready.
So they're like, what are we doing? I'm trying to get one of these top quarterbacks. We can't mess that up fully. So the Chiefs are going to take care of business, 27-10, KC over New England.
I'll go. The Chiefs are going to come out on the opening drive, and they're going to kick a field goal. Then the Patriots are going to come down the field, and they're going to kick a field goal. Then the Chiefs are going to go down the field, and they're going to kick a field goal. Then the Patriots, they're going to be undaunted. They're going to go down the field, and they're going to kick a field goal. So it's going to be 6-6 at halftime. The Chiefs are going to kick a late field goal. They're going to be down 16-13. Butker's going to hit a 30-yard field goal to send it in overtime. And with 30 seconds left in overtime, Harrison Butker's going to kick a 48-yard field goal, and your Chiefs are going to be victorious in overtime. 19-16.
You left me in suspense. I didn't know if the 48-yarder was going to be good or not. It just went over the crossbar. Oh, the winds were swirling there, but we got it. You know, I have this not as exciting as you guys do, whether it's Shane's overtime back and forth, whether it's Clint and Michael having this offense exploding for plus 20 points. I've got this one 17-13. Bailey Zappi has the ball at the end. He's down 4, but this game just stinks. The thrill is gone. The thrill is gone away because the thrill is gone. Very boring game. 17-13 get the win, but it is a snoozer. I'm sorry if you watch it, and that will be me. I'm sorry to myself.
Hey, my guy Brad Curry is going to be in the building from Maine. There's no way the Chiefs are going to let him down and give them a terrible performance.
They let us down. Clint and I were in Lambeau. They let us down.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But I think you guys are kind of cursed, you know, especially when Clint goes to games.
Yeah,
what he did.
Send your Chiefs to face the Eagles in Phoenix, Arizona.
We were at the AFC Championship game, but yeah, let's rewind back to Super Bowl 55, back to me at Indy last year, back to Lambeau this year. And it's funny because the Chiefs just don't lose many games, especially in the regular season. But do we find a way?
I want to say this before we wrap it up, Clint, and I want to ask you this specifically. You knew when you walked out of the Buccaneers Stadium when they lost the Super Bowl, because you've said it more than once, that there's going to be a knee-jerk overreaction to fix the offensive line, and that's what has happened. With that being said, why don't you feel that there will be the same knee-jerk reaction at wide receiver going into next
year? Because I want it.
Yeah, because it only almost as a defense mechanism, because I'm on board with it. Shane, everything you're saying, yes. I like some receivers late in that round. Matt Millen just did a mock draft that had 8 receivers going in the first round. We know Marvin Harrison Jr. is going the first, and he just actually has confirmed as of this morning that he's playing in the Cotton Bowl against Mizzou, which Noah and I will be at here in a couple weeks. That's right. along with most of the Ohio State draft picks. But I got guys that I like. I like Xavier Leggett. I saw him play this year out of South Carolina. There's guys, but I'm just saying with the draft position that we're going to have, which is probably somewhere between 24 and hopefully 32, probably not. Probably somewhere between 24 and 29, let's say.
So you don't think it'll be a knee-jerk reaction to get wide receivers?
I think it can, and I think it will. I think it's going to be a tall task to turn this over in a way that's going to be immediately satisfying. Like, what are you going to do? Oh, we got Chris Jones. What are we going to do there? What are you going to do with Willie Gay? What are you going to do with L'Jarius Sneed? What are we doing with these players that are free agents? Tommy Towns is a free agent. There's a laundry list. And what are you going to do? Are you just cutting bait with, MVS is a big cap hit this year. That's an easy one. See ya, MVS. Sky Moore, you're out the door. Are you just trying to go after a T. Higgins? Can you pull that off? Do you have the money for that? Is it just down to, okay, maybe we could try again for D-Hop. Adam Thielen's 34 years old. Can you try that? Like, I don't know what this is going to be.
We shouldn't be talking about the draft. There's a lot of seasons to go. The team still has
Shane, that's true. He's right. That's like a Shane.
That's my fault.
That's a Shaneism.
Week by week, and it starts with Sunday. Go and get this dub, KC. And I believe that run is going to happen to bring us back on the bandwagon, baby.
We got 3 months. We got 3 months until the free agent freakout show. I'm sorry.
And we are desperately out of time. Go!